What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Bob's Basement. I'm your handsome host, R. Bob Elstad. And following the UNC game tonight, Week 1 will officially be wrapped up for the 2025-2026 season. A lot went on last night and throughout the weekend of Week 1, very action-packed. Obviously, the game I want to start with is LSU versus Clemson. LSU traveled to Clemson, South Carolina, Death Valley. They defeated Clemson 17-10 in a hard-fought defensive game. Garrett Nussmeier, 28 for 38, 230 yards, a touchdown. Cade Klubnik, 19 for 38, 230 yards, no touchdowns and an interception. And a lot of people after the game, they went back and bookmarked, or they came back to the bookmark they had of the TikToks and the IG shorts of me talking about Garrett Nussmeier and saying how I wasn't impressed by him. And they came back saying, yeah, Garrett Nussmeier looked better, da-da-da-da. I'm still not impressed by Garrett Nussmeier. He still hasn't shown me anything that what you guys see. 230 yards is great. I mean, don't get me wrong, but on 28 completions, 6 yards per attempt, that's not elite to me. That doesn't jump off the screen to me. I was at the game. I don't know if you could tell my voice is gone.
Fuck you, Brian Kelly.
Take the goddamn points, Brian.
Fuck you, BK.
When I was at the game, a lot of the plays, a lot of that 230 yards comes straight yards after the catch. A 3-yard pass by Garrett Nussmeier to Aaron Anderson. Aaron Anderson turns up the field for 40 yards. That's cool. That's not a Garrett Nussmeier, that's not a big play for Garrett Nussmeier. That's not elite. I saw him make 2 throws I can think back to from that game. The one to Barry and Brown, that was a dime. I can't take that from him. That was an elite throw. And the jump ball he threw, I'm forgetting the receiver's name, but that resulted in a touchdown. That was a good ball. Now, did Garrett Nussmeier look better than Cade Klubnik? I guess sort of. I believe LSU offensively had a way better scheme than Clemson that worked in the benefit of Garrett Nussmeier. They didn't ask Garrett Nussmeier to do much. The receivers were schemed open. They made it easy for him. Runs after the catch, yards after the catch. Their O-line protected well. He was only sacked 1 time. And obviously, this all worked to the benefit of Garrett Nussmeier. He went out and had a good game. I'm not saying he didn't have a good game. I'm just saying he's not elite. What I said about Garrett Nussmeier still stands. They got a good road win. He didn't turn the ball over. He got the ball into his playmakers' hands. He didn't try to do too much, which is what I said from the beginning. I said that Garrett Nussmeier is a good game manager. He's Brock Purdy. So people coming back at me trying to, jump down my throat, pause about what I said about Garrett Nussmeier. Everything I said about Garrett Nussmeier is still fact. It still stands. Now, there are some things I said last week that are not facts. I said that Clemson O-line was one of the best in the country. From what I saw that game, I flat out lied. That O-line did not come to play. Clemson rushed the ball 20 times for a total of 31 yards. 31 yards. I don't know who we plan on beating running the ball for 31 yards, but you can't beat anybody when you're only able to run the ball for 31 yards. Cade Klubnik didn't look great, but we didn't do him any favors. O-line was subpar. And like I said, 31 yards rushing the ball when you have no threat to rush the ball. It's the same thing that happened against us against Texas. You can't become one-dimensional against a good team. You'll never beat a good team when you just drop back throwing the ball every time there's no threat to run the ball. And with that being said, one of my biggest takeaways from the game is Garrett Riley has to go. The offensive coordinator for Clemson has overstayed his welcome. I've seen enough from this guy, bro. In the 3 home openers with Garrett Riley as our offensive coordinator in 2023, we scored 7 points and turned the ball over 4 times. In 2024 against Georgia, we scored 3 points and had 188 total yards of offense. And just yesterday, Saturday, 2025, we scored 10 points and had 261 yards of total offense with 31 rushing yards. I keep putting emphasis on 31 rushing yards because it's ridiculous, bro. There's no way you can't scheme up more than 30 rushing yards. We can't at least go out there and rush for 60, 70 yards. I understand we don't have the Clemson running backs so old. We don't have Wayne Gallman. We don't have Travis Etienne. But you're telling me we're not bringing in guys good enough that we can't scheme open? And it's not even that. It's not even just the 31 yards that bothers me. In the second half, we run the ball 4 times. Not 4 times in a drive, 4 times total the whole second half. We were leading 10-3 to start the second half, ended the game 17-10. We didn't score at all in the second half. We couldn't even get in field goal range. I think we did get in field goal range, actually. I think a kicker missed a kick, if I'm not mistaken. But you just can't abandon the run, bro. Everybody knows this. that keeps up with football, watches football, plays football, that even plays CFB 26. Even if the run is not working, you can't abandon the run. A one-dimensional team is never going to be a good team. The defense gave us opportunity after opportunity to win this game. You hold that LSU team to 17 points. A lot of people say that wide receiver room is one of the best in the nation. A lot of people say that Garrett Nussmeier is one of the best in the nation. Obviously, I don't agree. But you hold that team to 17 points and you can't win that ball game is a disgrace by the offensive coordinator and the offense in general. In the fourth quarter, I believe we were down 7. We got the ball back at least 2 or 3 times to go down there and score and tie the ball game. The second to final drive, I believe, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 5, with essentially the game on the line. Garrett Nussmeier dials up, guess what? A QB designed run to the right, which was never going to work. We haven't been able to run the ball all game. 3rd and 5, you run your QB. The final drive of the game is 4th and 4. What do? We run no routes to the sticks. We run 4 routes to the end zone, and Clay Clemson has to throw it away. We call Bronny James a Nepo baby. We call Shadur Sanders a Nepo baby. When are we going to start calling Garrett Riley a Nepo baby, man? He's living off that Riley name. Lincoln Riley's his brother, and he's lived off that for too long, man. In the 3 years he's been at Clemson, he showed me no creativity. Against LSU, we had no offensive creativity, no misdirection, no eye candy, nothing, bro. We were the most predictable team in the world. We ran the ball 20 times for 31 yards. You're telling me you're an elite offensive coordinator, you can't scheme up a 100-yard rushing game? Not only does that 31 rush yards come back to the scheme of Garrett Riley, but it ultimately comes down to the offensive line. The offensive line was not able to reset the line of scrimmage on run plays. We weren't getting to the second level. The Weeks brothers were untouched most of the game, man. It's embarrassing. Protection-wise, we weren't making it easier on Cade. Granted, they were sending 6 and 7 sometimes, but even when they were rushing forward, the pockets weren't as clean as they should be. Now, is this something that I think is going to be the problem for the whole season? No. Clemson has a very good offensive line coach. I can't pull his name from memory right now, but obviously I know who he is. He's a very good offensive line coach. So do I think this will be a problem the whole year? No. Do I think Garrett Riley will be a problem the whole year? Maybe. We had the same problem last year. We couldn't scheme nothing open in the opener. He ended up dialing it up again against everybody else. But I don't know why we can't do this from the jump. Why we have to wait week 6, week 7 when our back is against the wall to start calling our plays, man. Let's get it rolling from the jump. Now, it's not all bad for Clemson. The silver lining is in football history, nobody has ever won a national championship in week 1. Everything is still out in front of us. Our goals are still there. The ACC championship goal is still there. This is a non-conference loss. Our goals of making the college football playoff are still there. This is the benefit of scheduling a team like LSU in week 1. You want to schedule a good team. You want to see what you have to work on. And like I said, everything's still out in front of us. But now I believe we have to win out. The ACC is going to be a tight race. I watched Miami and Notre Dame last night. Miami is back. FSU, you saw what they did to Alabama. They're going to be in the running for the ACC championship. SMU is still here. So the ACC championship is going to be tight. It's not going to be a walk in the park like Clemson is used to go and win the ACC championship. So if we want to do that, we have to get these stuff in line now. And I still do believe that Clemson still has the capabilities of winning the national championship. The pieces are still there. We just have to figure it out. Despite what happens this year, unless we do win the national championship, like I said, I want Garrett Riley gone. I believe I could have called a better game for Clemson. We had the opportunity to win the game. 3rd and 5, QB power. Who calls that? 4th and 4 to win the game or to continue the game to go score. We run no routes to the sticks, everything to the end zone. We leave nobody to block Cade Klubnik, which we struggled to do the whole game. And Clay Klubnik's flush out the pocket. He has to throw it away without taking a sack, Terrible game plan by Clemson. Kudos to LSU. Enough with talking about a bad game plan. Somebody who had a great game plan was Gus Malzahn and the Florida State Seminoles. They defeated Alabama 31-17. Thomas Castellanos on his new team. He talked shit about Bama all season, and they came through and backed it up. One thing that stands out to me the most about that game is that FSU dominated in the trenches. When you think about the best Alabama teams, the Nick Saban era, all their teams that dominated were able to do one thing very well, and that's dominate the trenches. You're not going to win football games if you can't win the trenches. Gus Malzahn, like I said, had a great game plan, lots of misdirection, lots of eye candy. They scored on a reverse jet sweep play, and if you go back and watch the game, they were setting that up the whole game, setting it up, giving Bama different looks. confusing their linebackers. It was just an overall great game plan for FSU. Coming off a 2-10 season for FSU to get a win like this against Bama at home, where a lot of people were doubting them, where a lot of people said they had no shot, is major. This is program altering. I believe this saved the FSU program. I believe they're real contenders this year, especially for the ACC championship. Like I said, Clemson plays them mid-season, and the winner of that game is going to be a shoo-in for the ACC championship. And I feel bad for Kalen DeBoer, man. A really successful coach at Washington, a really successful coach at all the stops before this. I don't think he was ready for the Bama job. Not only do I think he wasn't ready for the Bama job, you never want to be the guy that comes after the guy, man. You never want to be the guy to take over for a coach like Nick Saban, because no matter what you do, you're not going to be able to replicate the success that Nick Saban had. Rough season last year. I believe they lost, 4 games last year. You start off 0-1 now, losing to a team that you shouldn't have lost to. And a fan base like Alabama that's not used to losing every week is you're playing for your job every week. You know what I mean? You're coaching for your job every week. Now, is it time to hit the panic button if you're an Alabama fan, or a panic button if you're Kalen DeBoer? I do not think so. Kalen DeBoer's got his OC now, Ryan Grubb. I believe in Ty Simpson. They still have all the talent in the world. I believe everything is still out in front of them. Like I said about Clemson. Another team in the running for the ACC championship, the Miami Hurricanes. Miami defeated Notre Dame 27-24 at home. Carson Beck, 20 for 31, 205 yards, 2 touchdowns. That offense looked elite. They were able to run the ball. They were able to spread the ball around. Carson Beck didn't put the ball in harm's way. He did one time at the end of the half, but C.J. Daniels had the catch of the year, reaching back like 1-3 to go get it.
Under pressure, off his back foot, up for grabs, and caught! C.J. Daniels!
If he doesn't make that catch, it's an interception. Notre Dame get the interception. They go into the half tied up, and who knows? They only won the game by 3 points with that touchdown. So if they get a stop there, who knows what might have happened. So I believe C.J. Daniels' catch not only changed the game, but it might have changed the trajectory of Miami's season. Miami has a really good team. That offensive line is good. That defense is elite. Ruben Bain had an interception. I believe Miami is a real contender. I believe they're going to make the playoffs. I believe they're also going to make the ACC championship. I believe it's going to be between them and Clemson. I believe the loser of that game still gets into the playoff. So the ACC is as good of a conference as any this year. And with that being said, that concludes episode 7 of Bob's Basement. Another short episode. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I got a few guests lined up, a few cool episodes on the way, so please keep an eye out for that. And until next time, please like, comment, and subscribe. Wow. Not only is college football back, not only is Clemson football back, but the NFL football is back. Preseason, the first game was this past weekend with the Hall of Fame game. And I'm very excited, man.